Hi guys, before we get into today's video, I wanted to tell you about Rose Forever New York. Now, you've seen them a few times on my channel. Today, you can see I have a new beautiful bouquet. This time around, I picked out their hydrangea bouquet in a ceramic vase. This bouquet features both garden roses as well as hydrangeas in this elegant ceramic vase. I think we'll do a little bit of tapping on the vase itself. Now, I've never gotten one in a ceramic vase. I've always gotten their velvet boxes, and they are vegan velvet. But I absolutely love how the logo is embossed, I guess, into the ceramic there, and it's very understated. It's not a super gaudy logo since it was done in the all white. I really like that. These flowers will make a lovely gift during this holiday season. And if you would like, I have a referral link that will be down below in the description. Hi there, you must be my new student. Well, nice to meet you. I'm so excited to show you a little bit about how to play pickleball. Have you ever played before? No, okay. Did you do any sports at all, maybe in your youth or recently? Really? Okay, so this is like your first organized sport. Awesome. Well, I'll try to explain pickleball as best as I can to you. It's pretty easy. I know this might not mean anything to you, but it's kind of a mix of tennis, table tennis, and badminton. So if you've ever maybe watched any of those sports? No? Okay. No worries. Well, I am super excited to teach you. Why are you getting into it now? You have some friends that play? Okay, so are you guys looking to like do maybe competitive or just for funsies? Oh, okay. When is that tournament coming up? And it's just an entry-level one? Perfect, perfect. That sounds right up your alley. Okay, yeah, we got plenty of time to get you going in the sport and get you the hang of things. Since this is your first time getting into pickleball, I think we'll start going over how the court looks a little bit, some of the rules, because that can be a little bit of the tricky part for people who are just jumping in to pickleball, especially the scoring system. But let me grab my notebook and I'll draw a diagram of the court, okay? Here we go. Here's my notebook. I'll do it on the back page just in case it bleeds through. So that looks about like the middle. To about there. Don't make fun of my drawing, okay? I'm trying my best. Never claim to be an artiste. Okay, that. I just finished my drawing. So don't make fun of me. I know it's not the best, but we'll make it work for right now. So this, as a whole, is the court. This line in the middle right here is the net. We're gonna keep things pretty broad since you haven't really played sports before. But this area that I did with the stripies, as well as the lines here along the outside, are all going to be a part of what's called the kitchen, but you could also call it the no volley zone. And a volley would be when you hit the ball before it touches the ground. So you cannot do that in this area at all. Okay. And then, so let's say we're playing down here. So there's the right side and then the left side. And we always serve from the right side, starting serves. Sorry. You will switch as if you score points. So, for serving, you would be standing out here behind this line. You can't cross the line. You can't step over the line. You can hover your foot over it, I guess, but just to keep it more simple, just stay completely behind the line, and you have to serve underhand. And so you would serve from here across the net into the opposite side up here. So from here to there. Okay? When you're serving, just make sure you make it all the way over. It has to bounce once in this area. If it touches this line at all, then it's a fault, so you would lose your serve. Your serving would be done. Any questions with that? Yeah, so say this is the very first serve of the game. We're starting. So you would say the score, and I'll tell you a little bit about how scoring works. Say the score, and something a little tricky is with the very first serve to kind of take away the advantage of going first. You're the only one to serve this time. Usually if say you messed up, then it would go to your teammate and they would get a chance to serve, but that doesn't count for the first one. That's one of the exceptions to the rules. So say you go, you serve it, they send it back, you send it back, but it bounces twice. So your guys' point. So you would switch sides with your partner, and now you would serve from the left side here, and you would hit the ball again, just same principle, across the net diagonally over here. And then you would continue on. So let's say instead of you guys scoring on that one, you guys mess up, the ball hits once in the court and then bounces out. So since this is the first rotation, I guess, the first turn, you will side out, which is a term for it'll go to their turn. And then they will get to do their first server and their second server. And the same rules apply. The starting always starts with the right square serving first. But they will get both chances, and then it'll come back to you, okay? I know it's really tricky, and there's a lot I'm throwing at you all at once. I promise we'll just play around after I'm done kind of explaining things, and we'll just hit the ball. And that's all we're going to worry about today is like serving, getting it over the net. But I'll just do a brief overview now so you have a little bit to think about and remember, but do not feel like you'll have to remember each and every rule I'm telling you right now. So, for a game of pickleball, you are playing to 11 points, but you have to win by 2 points. So the game can theoretically keep going on further points. If you score, then they score. If you score, then they score. Okay? So let's see, serve behind the line. You can't touch the line. What else? Diagonal. Okay, next. 2 bounce rule. Another thing, right after the serve. So you served it across. They cannot volley it, which means it must hit the ground. So for the 2 bounce rule, you have to serve it, The ball must travel diagonally to their side. The ball hits the court. They send it back. Now the 2-bounce rule is it has to bounce once on your side as well. So ball will take 1 bounce. You can send it back. Now you can begin to volley on both sides. So usually when people volley, people stand kind of right in this area along the line for the no volley zone or the kitchen, because that's where you're the most tricky, where you can hit it. Other things to mention that people get kind of confused on is you can 100% stand in this area. You just can't hit the ball out of the air if it hasn't bounced. So you can totally stand in this area the whole game if you wanted to, but you could never hit a ball out of the air. And if the other team, say, hit the ball into you, that's a strategy, and it hits you, you're out. Like your turn's over. That counts as a, if they were serving, it would be a point for them. If you were serving, then you would lose that serve. There. Any questions there? Like I said, I know it's a lot, so it's totally okay to not even have questions right now either. A more advanced thing is, say you're volleying from here. The ball's coming at you. It's kind of high, but not enough where it's going to go out, so you kind of running up to hit it. If you hit it, the ball goes over, and even if it would count as a them screwing up, say the ball bounces twice on their side, but you fall into the kitchen zone after volleying it, that's a fault on you, and you would lose that point, or lose the ability to gain that point. So just something to keep in mind. So your partner could theoretically pull you back if you were teetering on the edge and going to fall in. But that's really advanced, not something you need to think about. Just later on, as we've played more, maybe something to keep in mind. Okay, and okay, yeah, scoring. Another thing that's very tricky is scoring. So let's kind of look through. For scoring, I'll do it down here. For scoring, it's 3 numbers. I'll write it down here. So you would say boop, boop, boop. And that's your score. And then I'll just say server number. So for doubles, scoring is going to, you always call out your score, their score, and then which server number you are to kind of keep track of that, since both of you, as long as it's not the very first serve, will get a chance to serve. So for the starting of the game, if you're the very first serve, you would say 0, 0, 2. And you start at number 2 because you only get that one chance to serve this time. Your partner does not get to serve the very first go around. So let's say I'm on the other team, you guys scored 1 point, but we don't have any. So I would say 0, 1, 1, because I would be the first server on our side. So that one's a little tricky. Again, don't have to worry about it too much. We'll work on it. And if you don't have any questions for right now, again, totally fine. It was a lot of info. We can just move on to looking at the equipment you brought with you. Okay, yeah, let's do that. We'll just take a look at the equipment. We can get into some stretching, and then we'll get into playing the actual game. Sound good? Great. Nice. So you got a pack of 2 plus 2 balls. Let's look at this paddle. Awesome. Let me put this down. Let me put your bag down real quick. It looks good. It's got a nice weight to it. Yeah, so it is pretty similar to a table tennis paddle. This one looks pretty nice. I like it a lot. I like the simple ones. Some people get like really fancy gaudy ones, but you definitely don't need that. Especially when you're starting out, you do not need to spend too much money on any of these paddles. So the biggest thing is, like I mentioned, for serving, you have to serve underhand. So you're going to hit it like that, but it's going to be down below your waist, okay? And that's the main thing. And then pretty much just don't let go and throw the paddle. That would be bad. You don't want to smack anyone with it. That would not be fun. But it looks like you got yourself a good paddle. Yeah, so it's going to be much more similar to ping pong table tennis paddle than a badminton racket or a tennis racket. You know, the ones with all the mesh and holes in the middle. The biggest thing, like I mentioned, is during serving, you're going to serve underhand and you want to serve diagonally across the net, and you want to make sure you're not hitting it in that no volley or kitchen zone, okay? After your serve, it's totally okay to hit it in that zone, but you just can't do it in the beginning. So let me show you the balls too. So this is the ball you'll be using. It's very similar to a wiffle ball. They're super lightweight. So basically you're just going to want to play around for a little bit, get used to how hard you're going to need to hit it to get it over the net and into the correct square. Yeah, so I think we should just hitting back and forth for a little bit. Really no rules. We'll just try to make sure we can get it over the net, okay? Yeah. Because I bet I have bombarded you with enough rules right now, and I think it's time to just play. But before we play, we should do some stretches. Okay. It's super important to make sure that you stretch, okay? So I want you to start with your arms out like so, and we're just going to rotate at our hips, okay? We're just going to loosen up our hips because we are going to be moving around a bit. It is, I would say, not as physical as tennis would be, but like a good in-between. Because there will be a little bit of running around maneuvering, but the court is much smaller than a tennis court, I'm sure you noticed. We'll do little stretches like this, and then let's do some arm circles. So arms straight out, and we'll do circles forward. Good. And then backwards. Good. Good. I think it's always super important to get your shoulders, since we're going to be swinging cross body like that. It's important to make sure these are nice and loosey-goosey. We don't need to pull any muscles. Now I like to do a stretch where I take one arm and get it over back behind my head like so, and I push it down with my other hand to get a nice big stretch here. So just push it until you can feel a slight stretch. It doesn't need to ever be uncomfortable, okay? So just stretch that out, hold it. Good, and then we'll bring your arms down and move to the next one. And push down until you feel a slight stretch. Again, nothing painful. There you go. Good, and now I like to do a little neck. So I'm just going to push my head down towards my ear towards my shoulder. And this one's mostly for me because I get a lot of strain in my neck. So I always make sure to do a little bit of neck stretches to make sure that I don't get any pulled muscles there, because they are the worst. If you've ever gotten a stinger in your neck, ooh. Yeah, right. absolutely awful. So switch sides once you're ready and just lightly press your head, help it move towards your shoulder again. Only going to feel a nice slight stretch. It should not be anything that hurts. Good. All right, are you feeling nice and limbered up? Perfect. Let's grab your paddles and both balls and we'll just practice your serving, okay? And we'll just hit it back and forth a few times and you can practice your serves. Sound good? Perfect.